Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
No charges. The Winnebago County State's Attorney explains his reasoning for not filing charges after a student's body slammed by an officer.
Winnebago County community members show support for young victims of violence. Advocates join hands to raise awareness and protect children. And
we're live in Chicago as the Bears prepare for their first round pick in the NFL Draft. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. A former school resource officer at Rockford's Auburn High School will not be criminally charged for an incident back in 2021.
Surveillance video from inside the school shows the adult body slamming the 14-year-old to the ground. Officer Bradley Lauer was called for an incident with Paris Moore, a freshman. The assistant principal said Moore rushed at him, grabbing him around the waist. That's when the officer told Moore to stop fighting and that he was under arrest. Then he, quote, lifted him off the ground, tripped him, and pulled him down. Moore lost consciousness. He ended up with a 46-inch vertical skull fracture. The teen's mom said he hasn't been the same since and struggles with day-to-day activities. The Winnebago County State's Attorney said based on the circumstances, there's no evidence that Officer Lauer intentionally used force likely to cause great bodily harm. Jay Hanley said he consulted with Illinois State Police as well as a use of force expert in his decision. Lauer is no longer a school resource officer but is still with the police department. The teen's family filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Officer Lauer, the city of Rockford, and the Rockford Public Schools Board of Education.
The Rockford community comes together hand in hand to bring awareness to child abuse. Hundreds of cases are investigated each year. Many more go unreported. Hands Around the Courthouse is an annual event in Winnebago County to remind us of the problem. Survivors of abuse shared their stories. Community members then linked together using a blue ribbon. That ribbon symbolizes the solidarity within the county to work against child abuse of all forms.
I think it's really important as adults, if we suspect that there's abuse, that we speak up, that we check on that child, that we teach our children to speak up, that we report it to DCFS or law enforcement to make sure these children are safe.
The 17th Judicial Circuit Family Violence Coordinating Council put on this event. Boone County hosted its first Hands Around the Courthouse earlier this month. Some warning signs of an abused child might be a heightened sense of fear or clinginess, wetting the bed, or loss of interest in other activities. Your Eyewitness News home team is committed to supporting survivors and finding solutions to all forms of violence. There's a list of resources on our website, mystateline.com. Just click on the State Line Strong tab.
100 applicants across the state line are trying to get a cannabis dispensary license. The Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation will host a lottery to determine who'll get the next round of licenses. There are 55 up for grabs. Nearly 2,700 groups submitted applications. The lottery will happen in early to mid-May. Then those selected will have 45 days to prove their social equity eligibility. That is to prove they are low income or receiving public benefits, have been a victim of a firearm injury, or a family member has been charged with a low-level cannabis crime.
Downtown Rockford will look a bit different over the next few years.
Phase 1 of a project to redevelop Davis Park is underway. Our Nikel Delgado got an update today. Nikel, what'd you find out?
Yeah, Eric and Mimi, I talked with one downtown business owner who is excited for all the changes, for Rockford to become the city that people want to visit and where locals want to stay.
It's a time that Rockford start bringing new things and people being able to not have to go to Chicago, not have to go to Schaumburg, but be able to stay in your hometown.
Exploring what the city of Rockford has to offer, restaurant owner Quintisha Hanna can't wait for all the new additions at Davis Park, just across the street from her new restaurant.
I remember when we used to have On the Waterfront and so many different things, and to finally have things being brought back to Rockford downtown, I'm so excited.
Quintisha is excited to see people from other communities and even states to visit the Forest City. Stage 1 of the $5 million project includes a new multi-use path, landscaping, and water features.
We're in the process in the next couple of days of landing brand new boat docks that will help serve Davis Park and Embassy Suites, and obviously people that want to, navigate the river, get out and kind of enjoy downtown. So looking at an open air canopy with a great lawn, a skate park, a really nice trailhead through the park, really trying to support kind of, activating that riverfront area. So we're really, really excited for this first part of the project.
Director of Public Works Kyle Saunders says this is an investment to the core of downtown.
The riverfront path, the Rails to Trails bridge, we really want this to be a strong connection to UW Sports Factory and all those downtown restaurants, small businesses, event venues. This is really that connector and that anchor that should tie all those together. So we're really excited about that.
Quintisha is excited to see what's next.
I hope that everyone is able to see that they're trying to bring more things to Rockford, and this is going to be a positive impact for everybody.
The boat docks along the Rock River are expected to be completed by June. The full project is expected to cross the finish line fall of 2024. Eric?
Thanks, Nicole. The last flower bomb popped up in front of the Rockford Art Museum this morning ahead of this weekend's Art in Bloom exhibit. All month, displays of flowers have been added to different locations across the city. Community members were encouraged to pick a few to take home for free. The colorful Art in Bloom features works of art from the Rockford Midwestern Biennial exhibit. Local designers use flowers and other organic material.
So it's just a beautiful way to show the creativeness of floral designers. And we've got this big, beautiful space. Our museum's wonderful. We've got beautiful artwork. So having them come in and look at art in a different way and interpret it with flowers is really just an amazing collaboration of creativity.
Art in Bloom kicks off tonight and goes all weekend at the Art Museum. Fashion in Bloom will be held tomorrow night.
Childcare costs are skyrocketing. Some families say it's cheaper not to work than to pay for childcare.
Coming up, Democrats introduce a bill to combat the issue, how they say it will help American parents.
Our temperatures made it into the 60s here this afternoon. A beautiful day up to 67. We've got one more warm day before the temperatures fall for the weekend. A look at that and our rain chances too coming up a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
The ringmaster of mayhem for daytime TV has died.
Jerry Springer was one of the most controversial talk show hosts in America. He died this morning in suburban Chicago following what his family called a brief illness. For 27 years, the Jerry Springer Show was a staple of afternoon TV. While some called the show a cultural embarrassment, Springer often spoke of how it was nothing more than entertainment. The show went off the air in 2018. His final TV appearance was on last season's The Masked Singer. Jerry Springer was 79 years old. The cost of childcare is skyrocketing for American families.
There's a new bill to help make it more accessible and get higher wages for childcare providers. Basil John explains.
The cost of childcare has many families like mine living one or two paychecks from financial disaster.
Parents like Tiffany Nelms say they are plagued by the burden of finding affordable childcare.
We couldn't find high quality care in our community, so I drive an hour round trip twice a day to drop off and pick up my children from a daycare that provides the care they deserve.
That's why Senate and House Democrats say it's time to tackle the child care crisis.
This is a full-blown economic crisis in every state, in every zip code.
This is a crisis for parents, for families, and providers across the country.
Their Child Care for Working Families Act would expand the supply of child care facilities, increase child care provider wages, and lower child care costs for parents.
Working families deserve access to affordable and high-quality care, and we, together, are going to fight to make sure they have it.
A recent study from Ready Nation found the limited availability of infant and toddler care results in $122 billion in lost earnings and productivity every year.
We certainly can't say that we're the greatest country in the world if we're not providing the best care in the world.
West Virginia Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito agrees the issue deserves attention.
We need to make sure we not just have child care availability, but that it's quality child care availability.
Democrats say they are confident they can get Republicans like her on board. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Sunshine and warmer temperatures finish out the work week.
But don't expect it to stick around for long. Coming up after the break, Candace tells us about cooler weather moving in for the weekend.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Temperatures this afternoon have made it into the 60s. Has felt pretty comfortable out there. 67 right now in Rockford, 66 in Freeport, 67 in Rochelle, and 68 our temperature down in Sterling. 68 also for our weather watcher Ben in South Beloit. This last hour, 66 I should say. Dew point temperature sits at 37, so still pretty dry out there, as that dry air helping to keep our skies mostly clear. Our weather watcher Wendy out in Belvedere also has 68 degrees underneath a mostly sunny sky. We take a live look with our Javon Bay Hospital camera here on the northeast end of Rockford out at Riverside at 90. Starting to see just a little cloud cover kind of work in from the south. This tied into another low pressure system that'll pass through central and southern Illinois late tonight before moving to the east of us into the afternoon tomorrow. We're kind of split between these two storm systems, but with dry air thanks to high pressure still over the Great Lakes, we should stay mostly dry. Just a small chance that we could see a shower or two towards the late afternoon. Better opportunity for rain will come in once we get into the weekend. All right, let's talk about rainfall because we've been pretty dry, but have you ever noticed when it rains, it has kind of this certain smell to it? You say, oh, it smells like rain outside. Kind of this earthly smell. Well, there's a couple of reasons why we may be smelling the rain the way that we do. The smell of rain may actually be one of three things. So soil-dwelling bacteria secrete geosmin when producing spores down in the soil. So the raindrops help release this kind of earthly smell chemical into the air. So that's one possibility. Another one, during dry times, plants actually secrete oils. This oil, the rain causes compounds to be released from that, and that may also be another reason why you kind of have that earthly rain smell. A third possibility, lightning can actually split the oxygen molecules into individual atoms. That's pretty neat. Those atoms can combine with O2 molecules to make O3, which is ozone, which has a distinct pre-rain odor to it. So going into the weekend, it will be a little chilly out there, but maybe you'll notice kind of that rain smell and know a little reason why it maybe has that kind of smell to it. No rain for us tonight, just a few clouds out there. Cloud cover, notice that will increase a little as we go through the afternoon tomorrow. We'll stay relatively dry, and despite that wind turning to the northeast, temperatures should actually make it back into the 60s for tomorrow. Cold front comes in on early Saturday. That may bring us a light shower or two. We may actually see some clearing take place for the afternoon. That could bring temperatures up, but towards late afternoon and evening, we get another disturbance to kind of work in. This will bring us some showers here towards Saturday evening, overnight, and then going into Sunday. Sunday, we actually have a better chance for more kind of widespread scattered rainfall, and temperatures unfortunately down near 50. 56 degrees are high on Saturday, but as that colder push of air comes in, notice the numbers will drop down to about 49 once we get into Sunday, and we'll stay right around 50 into next Monday. So 41 degrees for us tonight, comfortable overnight, actually pretty close to where we should be for this time of year. 67 for tomorrow afternoon. Winds will turn to the northeast at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, not a complete washout. I think we got some dry time in there. Sunday may be more of a day to kind of stay inside, especially with one, the wind, and then two, the rain showers. 50 on Monday, 55 on Tuesday. We're back into the 60s for next week. Next chance for maybe some thunderstorms to return could come in next Thursday.
Thanks, Candace.
Scott's in next with sports.
It's NFL draft night. He'll join us live from Hallis Hall with some thoughts on what the Chicago Bears might do in the first round.
Now sports with Reagan Holgate.
NFL fans are pretty pumped up for the start of the league draft tonight. All of the first round drama will begin to unfold right here at 7 o'clock. At the moment, the Bears have the 9th overall pick, and there's a lot of anticipation about what they will do with that pick. Now, for more on that, our Scott Leber joins us live from Bears headquarters at Hallis Hall. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Reagan. You know, Ryan Poles could go in any number of directions with that number 9 overall pick. Maybe he grabs an offensive lineman to provide some more protection for Justin Fields, or maybe he gets Fields another major weapon by drafting a running back or a wide receiver. Or perhaps Poles addresses the defensive line, which was such a weak spot for the Bears last year, by either getting a run stuffer or an edge rusher. Or perhaps Poles could trade down a few more notches and still address one of those needs. Or maybe he just takes the best player available on the board at the time with that 9th pick. Earlier this week, Bears assistant general manager Ian Cunningham was asked about that best player available approach.
I think that's what we always do, is try to take that best player available approach. I think the whole needs thing it's funny, we were Ryan and I were having this conversation earlier. It's like those needs kind of get ironed out through the whole process, but ultimately it's the best player available. I think when you get into day 3 and you kind of look at the board horizontally and you see some positions are maybe a little bit more robust than others, and I think that's where you kind of have to finesse it a little bit.
The Bears are well stocked for this draft. They have 10 picks total in the 7 rounds. They own 4 of the first 64 picks because they have 2 in the second round. 5 of their draft picks were acquired through trades, and they have 1 supplemental pick near the end of the draft. Now, tonight, each team will have 10 minutes to make its first-round pick. So based on that, the Bears should be picking, if they stick at number 9, sometime around 8:20, 8:30-ish for that. And coming up a little bit later, Reagan, I'm going to throw out some names to you that might be on the Bears' radar for that number 9 pick tonight. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Scott. We will see you then. Now, we also obviously want to touch on where the Packers stand in this year's draft, especially after that blockbuster Aaron Rodgers trade. You just saw this graphic here a few moments ago, so we'll show it to you again. The Packers draft capital, and as they enter into their Jordan Love era, Green Bay also has their fair share of stock in this year's draft. They have 11 picks throughout throughout the full 7 rounds. They have the number 13 overall pick right now, thanks to that Aaron Rodgers trade. 3 total came from that deal. They also hold 2 second-rounders. The Packers also have 1 supplemental pick in the 7th round. If you want to watch the draft, you are in the right place. We'll have the entire first round tonight right here on WTVO. We also have a half-hour draft preview special coming up at 6:30. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Yesterday and today have just been really nice.
I know. We gained about 10 degrees from yesterday to this afternoon. But yeah, when you factor in sunshine, even if you're in the 50s, it's still pretty nice out there.
And no rain smell.
No rain smell. We'll get a little rain smell, or other smells for that matter, going into the weekend. But for tonight, we would stay pretty quiet. So temperatures will drop back to, unfortunately, for the weekend. So I guess take in the next couple of days. You know, go for a walk this evening if you can. Tomorrow should be pretty nice too.
Solid advice.
We'll lose a little bit of sunshine though for tomorrow as we get a little more cloud cover for the afternoon. The First Warn interactive radar on mystateline.com. You can follow the rain showers as they move in for the weekend. Temperatures tonight down around 40, 67 for tomorrow. A little more cloud cover. Upper 50s as we head towards Saturday. Temperatures will then stay in the 40s, unfortunately, as we look towards Sunday, Monday of next week. But we're back into the 60s by next Wednesday, Thursday. Could see a couple of thunderstorms during that time too. So a little dip in the temperatures for the weekend, but then looks like we should at least warm back closer to where we should be.
That would be nice. Thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.